Every time BTS posts a new video over the past few years, probably since early 2018, seemingly within the first 24 hours, that video tends to lose millions of views. Just out of nowhere. It just like Thanos snapped his fingers and half the views have gone away. Not to that point, but you get what I mean. Well, what if I tell you it's not a coincidence? What if I tell you there's really something behind the scenes causing this to happen? Again and again and again. Well, that's what we're going over here today. Today we're going to be going over why BTS always loses views on their videos. After BTS lose about 5 to 10 million to 15 million sometimes. 15 million views off of a single video within the first 24 hours of the video. It's really interesting how it immediately happens to them and really only them over and over and over again. It's quite interesting, but there is a very big reason to it. Let's go over it. So YouTube likes to do this thing where they audit the views of a video. Sometimes it can give the video just a spike of views and add more views to the video because checks have gone wrong initially, or sometimes, most of the time, it leads to a loss of a very noticeable amount of views. And as I've said before, typically with a BTS video, it tends to be anywhere from about the 5 million mark to potentially 15 million-ish views being erased off a video in a moment of seconds because of who knows why. And I've seen fans complain that if this is a verification of YouTube, then it's crap. That they should be able to keep on top of it all the time. They can't. Physically, when it comes to something like this, they physically can't. And I want to say this, the view count that you see on the watch page is not always up to date to what it should be. In fact, especially in the first 24 hours, I never see it. Like, that's never up to date to what it actually is. And potentially that tends to continue the trend for a fair amount of time. Sometimes it takes a few months, sometimes it takes a few days until the view count on the watch page and the view count in the analytics are actually matched up. So I thought I would take a little experiment, because I think I have an idea of what's causing BTS to have this issue, especially when I've seen a few tweets about this. Now, why do I say? Well, back in April, when YouTube promoted BTS underneath their YouTube Music Twitter page, a lot of BTS fans were going after their necks because recently another BTS video had lost about 10 million views. And so this hashtag on Twitter started going around called hashtag YouTube give us back our 10 million. You can search this up on Twitter, but Twitter's blocked it practically. You get no result. But there was this one magical tweet that I just so happened to have replied to back then, so I was able to find it today. This is it here. This is a BTS fan showing their dedication by watching the video on multiple different devices. Interesting, right? They call this dedication, not bots. They say that they're making sure these are real, genuine views. And you know what? It's a really clever idea, but it doesn't work. In fact, I remember coming across this tweet back in this time. I don't have it saved because I didn't interact with the tweet at all, so I've lost it because Twitter's blocked the search now. But there was this tweet that I found that had a picture describing how BTS fans should do it. They should have multiple accounts that watch the video. When they finish watching through the video, they close off the YouTube app or refresh the browser, going back to the home page and then clicking on the video again to make sure that the next video counts to view. I also saw the details right at the end of it is to never put it into a playlist and loot the playlist because then it won't count as more views. Very, very intricate detailing that this person's gone to make sure to describe how to get more views on a video. It's interesting, right? And I can see by at least this tweet where someone was showing their dedication of watching it on multiple different devices that they got a few thousand likes. So obviously there would be there's a fair amount of people doing this. So let's put into a theoretical mind experiment. Let's say the BTS fans were a size of about 10 million people. That's obviously not the truth, but it's a very nice number to use in this experiment. Let's say exactly 1%. 1% of the fan base did this. That's about 100,000 people. Exactly 1% of the fan base did this. 100,000 people, right? And let's just say the video that they're watching 6 minutes long. In that 6 minute period, let's just say they have 4 devices. 4 devices is a good number to go off of. Most people typically have a phone, typically have a tablet, typically have a computer that they can watch on multiple different accounts. So it kind of works. We'll go that there's 1% of the audience, which our fan audience is 10 million. So that's 100,000 people. They all have 4 devices each and they're watching a 6-minute video. That's 4 million views concocted up by this 100,000 fans, by this 1% that are doing this. In a 2-hour period, that's 8 million views. 8 million fake views. 8 million views done by just viewing the video on multiple accounts. Does this make a little more sense to why BTS videos lose a lot of views? Let's imagine the actual scale of their fan base. Tens of millions of fans. And we just give it 1%. 1% of them do this. That is hundreds of thousands of people doing this, which just ultimately accumulates to millions upon millions, tens of millions of fake views, tens of millions of views that only occurred because a few 100,000 people watched it on multiple devices on multiple occasions in a few hour period. And I can say that there is a high chance that there are fans of BTS that do this very heavily and dedicate to it. YouTube's system eventually catches on and initially deletes just the few extra views that have been coming in, but then almost always ends up to the point where they just delete every single view aside from the initial one from this little session, which ultimately really helps explain why BTS videos lose so many views when that happens, because all it takes is a very small amount of them that do this little idea that they seem to know about really well, and they take it to the lengths where they make sure it gets counted as a view. It's kind of understandable why they lose millions of views off of the music video, because they're not real. They may have been done off of a real person's account, off of a real person's device, but that person isn't really watching it. They're watching it on multiple devices just to get views on that video. They may love BTS, but that doesn't help them. In fact, it hinders them. It means that YouTube becomes more and more likely, the more this occurs, makes it more and more likely that they are to freeze the view counts, to erase even more views than necessary. So why is BTS losing tens of millions of views pretty much every single video? Because of the few 100,000 people, that 1% that decide to watch it on multiple different devices for a few hours. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Anyway, till next time guys, see ya!